Welcome everyone. I'm here with Martin Woods, Head of Anti-Money Laundering at Thomson Reuters, and we are discussing today Know Your Customer developments in relation to investment managers. Martin, thanks for talking with us. Let's talk about the speculation in the industry in respect to changing regulatory attitudes for asset and fund managers. What is the impact this is having on anti-money laundering and KYC?
I think historically, pre the global financial crisis, there was perhaps a perception of over-reliance upon other participants, particularly banks. Most people make payments of funds from a bank account. Now there are perceived weaknesses and vulnerabilities whereby there's much more demanded of an asset manager, an investment manager, to know their customers and demonstrate they know the customers.
Why the sudden anxiety as to the extent to which asset managers know their clients?
Because historically, the asset managers and the investment managers relied a great deal on the banks. Most of the payments came from the banks themselves, who knew their clients or presumed to know their clients, customers and other investors. There's been a change in that dynamic now.
In the expert talk, Fund Relationship Complexities, you referenced an elongated asset management supply chain. How did that come up, and what are the risks for parties in that supply chain?
Well, we discovered that customers are investing in funds that then subsequently invest in other funds. There are a fund of funds, there's fund of funds, and therefore you have an investor, a customer, whose money ends up being placed some way away from where they originally thought they were investing it. All along that chain, different investment managers may presume one or the other is undertaking know your client screening. If they all make the same presumption and no one's doing it, we have a problem.
And how much variance is there in the KYC processes applied by different asset managers?
Well, in different parts of the world, we've learned that what we thought were mature anti-money laundering regimes are not. Consequently, we must presume that different asset managers in different parts of the world have different levels of know your client due diligence, different levels of screening, such that you are very accountable to the regulator in your country. You must assure yourself that whoever you're dealing with, you can rely upon them, but moreover, you take the action yourself and you know who your investors are.
Is there scope for a globalized approach to this whole process? And if so, why haven't we seen it before?
Well, it's a challenging one because there are 40 recommendations from the international body, the FATF. 26 apply to the financial services industry. So there should be some degree of standardization, but it's a different interpretation. There's different conflicts with different legislation in different countries. We like to think that we at Thomson Reuters, working with our regulated community, working with regulators, we can drive towards a more standard, more harmonised approach in this space.
What lessons can we learn from the Bernie Madoff case?
Well, we can learn that actually the investors didn't know who they were investing with. In September, there was a court case in Switzerland where those investors successfully sued fund managers and asset managers for putting their money with Madoff and not telling their customers. So we need more transparency. If we're going to take the money and invest it with another fund, we need to be transparent about that.
And just to finish up with, what are regulators expecting now from fund managers in relation to this?
They're expecting fund managers to be on the front foot, to actually apply the same levels of due diligence as the banks do, not to place over-reliance upon banks, not to over-rely upon each other, and to be able to demonstrate to the regulators that they know their customer, they know the customer's source of wealth, they know the customer's source of funds, they know the risk to the industry, to the actual fund manager and to the regulator themselves.
Okay, Martin Woods, thank you very much.
Thank you.